The last one to talk about is Vanderbilt, whatever you want to call them. Worst team in the SEC. And really, I'm only saying that because I don't like them. It's, our in-state rival, which I never really considered a rival until James Franklin came along, and now I don't care if we score 100 points on him. I do like Derek Mason as a coach. I think he's obviously a very talented defensive coach because he's getting probably the best defense you can out of those Vanderbilt players. They've got a nice piece with Ralph Webb on offense. Is Kyle Schumer going to be that answer they've been looking for on quarterback consistently? Justin's shaking his head no.
Nah.
I tend to agree a little bit with that. I think he'll show flashes of greatness, and then he'll go back to being pummeled by the SEC defensive linemen.
Poor Vanderbilt. I mean, they I don't even mean that, but they don't stand a chance. I got them with 4 wins this year, and that might be, I might be low, but I don't see them getting bowl eligible. Maybe they sneak up to 5 if something happens. Their quarterback play is not where it needs to be. Their talent level's not where it needs to be. We're talking in terms of just competing each week in the SEC. And like I said earlier, someone's got to take those losses in the East. I think Vanderbilt's going to take more than anybody else.
Yeah. I mean, it to me, it comes down to that first game of the season. That's going to determine who the best of the worst is. Whoever loses that game, I don't think will be bowl eligible. I mean, and there's a chance that whether you win or lose that game, you won't be bowl eligible. But I definitely think the team that loses that game will end up sitting at home during the bowl season. In some ways, I'd like to see Vanderbilt take that next step because and get bowl eligible, just because it would make our schedule look a little better to beat a decent Vanderbilt team at the end of the year as opposed to a horrible one. And then you have to, if Kentucky's going to get bowl eligible, South Carolina and Vanderbilt are going to be the 2 wins that they need to do that. And they would also have to beat Missouri, because I don't know if they'll beat Louisville, which is, they should win their other 3 out of conference. I think they play Southern Miss the first week, and then they've got a couple other no-name teams to play. But I think it'll really come down to, can they take care of business against Vanderbilt, South Carolina, and Mizzou, and that's just a huge question mark to me because they've been so inconsistent. They lost to Vanderbilt last year. They did beat South Carolina last year, but everybody beat South Carolina last year. The Citadel beat South Carolina last year. So yeah, I mean, that's between Vanderbilt, South Carolina, Mizzou, and Kentucky. It's who's going to be the best of the worst.
If you're Vanderbilt, what's best case scenario this year for you? You hope your quarterback play is average compared to the rest of the league. You hope your defense can step up in the top third. How many games does that get you in the SEC?
I mean, 6 wins, of course, is what you like. If you're one of these lower tiered programs, getting to a bowl is huge, not only for the fans, but it's huge for those coaches, because that takes a huge weight off of those coaches. If you're at Kentucky and can get your team bowl eligible, and David Cutcliffe has proved this, you go to these lower tiered football programs like Duke, Wake Forest. If you can just get bowl eligible, you can stay there as long as you want. You won't get paid the most, and you won't get as much praise, but you'll be able to keep your job for just about as long as you want to. And that's really when you're talking about the Vanderbilt and Kentucky, especially, just because these are 2 teams that have rarely seen success, and if they have, it's been a long time ago. So that's what you're looking for, is those 6-6 years, and you're hoping that you can get consistent in them. If these coaches can get their teams in a bowl every other year, I mean, they can basically stay there as long as they wanted to, in my opinion.
I agree with you.